go. Yes. Are you kidding me? Yes, welcome. Welcome to Real Estate Investing with Brent Daniels, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, and I'm excited for this show. This show is going to be absolutely action-packed, all right, because this show is all about answering your questions and simplifying real estate investing. And we are live. We are live from beautiful Phoenix, Arizona in the Batch Skip Tracing Studios. And I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, batchskiptracing.com, batchskiptracing.com, where you go to get the most accurate numbers for the addresses that you're trying to get a hold of, the most accurate phone numbers possible. All right, so let's get started. This show is all about deal or no deal. All right, when we're starting out, even when we have some experience, this is always going through the back of our head. Am I looking at a lead that is going to actually be a deal that I can close and make a good amount on, right? I mean, we're looking at comping properties, we're looking at the repair costs, we're looking at what do we offer. This comes up more and more and more. I get more DMs, I get more texts from my TTP family members about what do you think about this property? Is this a deal? What price should I go? Should I offer the seller? What should I put this out to my cash buyers at if I'm wholesaling? If I'm flipping, what do you think that I could get for if I totally renovate this property and put it on the market? That's what we're talking about today. So we're going to go through the 7 stages of comping the properties, and then I'm going to really deep dive. We do this every single week, but I'm going to really deep dive the max allowable offer equations, okay? Because I think there's a lot of confusion around the country, and I want to get rid of all of that cloudiness, all of that confusion, and give you the tool that you need so that you can be able to look at a deal quickly, be able to comp it and understand, am I working with somebody that has potential here? Am I working with somebody that has the equity and the motivation that I'm looking for? And obviously that all starts with pre-qualifying the leads, right? So when we're going after, remember, when wholesaling, we've got 3 parts, right? Can we switch to this screen here, Matt, right here? 3 parts to the to any kind of lead generation for business in real estate investing. Starts with lead generation. This is the engine of our business. Imagine that your business is a train, and you have to fuel that engine and that train to go down the tracks, and that is all about lead generation. We talk about it all the time. We talk about being proactive. We talk about picking up the phone and asking people if they would consider an offer on their property. Very targeted people if they would consider an offer on their property. People that have their hands raised and showing signs of distress, that's who we're going after. We're filtering out every other property, all the 90% to 94% of the properties we get rid of. We focus on the 6 to 10% that statistics show are in distress in every market throughout the country. Okay, so first we go after lead generation, and then we go to conversion, and that's really what we're talking about in this training today, in this session today, in this live today. We're going to be going over how do you go and convert that? How do you know, once you have somebody on the hook, you've done all the hard work, you've done all the hunting, you've been going out there, you've been doing your best, you've been building your skills, you've been talking to these distressed property owners, and now you want to know, is this a deal or not a deal? All right, so we're going to break it down. So let's jump into my computer here. Okay, and I'm going to pull up this property because I want to start here and really break down how I want you to look at these properties. Okay, now right here I'm in ttpdata.com, powered by propstream. ttpdata.com, phenomenal tool for $97 a month. If you're serious about your real estate investing business, this is the tool that you need because it gives you all the info. So all I did, let me just show you what I did here. This is really fun. All I did was I just did did a satellite search, and I looked for some houses that would be interesting to comp, and I found this one right here, right? Look at that. Look at this property. This is fantastic. All right, you can see it's got the empty pool. It's got a bunch of, you know, debris and trash and junk saved up, and it looks like the perfect opportunity. These are the properties that we want to go after because it's showing signs of distress. It's showing that they're not keeping up with this property. So there might be some financial concerns that they have. So what I always love to do first is I always want to go and look at the front of the house and just kind of get a feel. If I'm not driving and if I'm not in front of it right now, I love pulling up these properties and looking right at what's going on. Now, interesting things here that I see instantly. All right, look at this right here. The roof is new. This is a newer roof. If I go over a little bit and I look at their air conditioning units, though, these look older, don't they? Doesn't that look like an older air conditioner unit on top there? So that's saying to me, okay, well, maybe they replaced the roof through insurance, but they haven't replaced any the air conditioning units. And in Arizona, this is critical. You have to have really good functioning air conditioning units. I'm looking at the cars. I'm looking at the tree. I'm looking at the junk in the front of the house. I'm looking at, you know, everything going on here. The windows look like they've been replaced. That's interesting. But you can see there's some wear and tear over here. It looks like it's a little bit rough. Looks like cosmetically it needs some love. So I'm saying to myself, yes, this is a great opportunity to do something special. And I like going after the ugliest properties because you'll find that those are the biggest spreads that you can get, right? Because it's not like they have a tremendous amount of equity in it. They have a tremendous amount of potential equity if it is fixed up. That's what it's all about. Remember, as the buyer, as you're going after these properties, you are the one that determines the value. It's not a real estate appraisal. It's not the real estate agent. It's not even the market. It's a ready, willing, and able buyer. It's you going after this property. So you determine what the value of this is. So let's, Matt, if you would just switch over to the 7 steps of comping there, and we'll just go through this. All right, right here. This is really, really important, okay? We're going to go through each one of these. Location, timeline, right? The age, the size, what is the floor plan, the condition, and the potential of this property, all right? So first, we're going to be looking at the location. So what I want to do here is I want to get out of this. I want to get into here, and I'm looking at some, I just want to kind of get some ideas here. It looks like it's a 2-bath. We'll see. It's not exactly perfect, but oftentimes that they do have accurate beds and baths in here. But I'm really looking at the square footage because this is going to help us determine our estimated fix-up cost when we're doing our equation to see what is the offer that we want to give this distressed property owner. And literally, I just pulled this out of the blue. I just went in and I just pulled this from a satellite image. So this is a great one. We haven't talked to this person. Well, we might have talked to him in our business, but not that I know of. So I'm just looking at this. I want to see right here. It looks like they've got an incredible amount of equity. It looks like they don't owe anything on this property. It's got a value of $247 here. Let's see how accurate that is. Let's dive into this. The other thing I want to do actually is I want to pull this and just put it into Google and get the Zillow on it. Redfin's popping up, Zillow's not. We'll go to Redfin, that's fine. And just take a look at this and see what their estimate is. Okay, they've got a 233 estimate. Interesting. All right, so let's get into PropStream. Let's go to the comparables here. Right? And this is just step by step. You can go back and watch through this again. And I want to encourage you, if you've got some challenging addresses that you're going after, send them in. Put them in the comments, and we'll pull them up and check them out. All right? But again, this is ttpdata.com, comparables here, all right? Now, I always like going both. I want to get access to both the public record and the MLS. Now, it just depends on what market you are. In a lot of the non-disclosure states, Texas is a big one. South Carolina is another one that they don't disclose the sale prices. They do some estimates, so you got to just kind of play with this. But if they've got access to the MLS, this is awesome. Look at this. You've got the MLS solds. And it helps us really pinpoint the value of this property. All right, and the other thing I want to do is I want to look at the active, the contingent, and the pending properties here, so that I can see what the action is. What's the actual action right now in that neighborhood, right? Are there properties on the market that have been flipped that are, you know, really high priced? I want to take a look at that. Are there some that are under contract right now that show like that this is the value of that neighborhood? All right, now the other thing that I love doing here is I want to go back 3 months. Because the market's hot, I want to go back 3 months. We'll go back to December. What's today, guys? The 24th? All right, we got the 24th here, and I'm looking at all these properties. Look at these comps. Look at all these comps. Now, what I want to do here is start with that location. All right, that's the first step in that 7-step of comping is the location. I'm looking for properties that are specifically in this neighborhood, properties that are very similar. Now, I've got the square footage here, and what they usually do here is they'll do a range of about 20% either way, which is fine. It's already set in there. If you want to play with this, you can. But if you've got comps that are within that 20% plus or minus of your square footage, that's fantastic. All right. Obviously, the closer the model match or the square footage, the better. But this is an older neighborhood, so a lot of them aren't going to be the exact same model like in a master plan community and newer neighborhoods. So what I'm looking at here is I've got my timeline, which is the second one there, right? Can you pull that 7 steps up again, Matt? We've got the timeline, which is 3 months. If you can go 3 months, go 3 months. If you need to, go back 6 months. If you're in a really rural, if there's not a lot of comps that are similar, and if you really need to, time travel a year and look at those comps. Okay, some of the properties that you're going to be going after and comping aren't necessarily in like a community with a lot of properties, or maybe they're bigger lots, or maybe they're more spread out, or maybe you have a bigger property in a neighborhood that has smaller houses, or vice versa, right? It's a smaller property in a neighborhood that has bigger houses. So we want to look into that location. Now the years here, I'm looking at this, and this was built in 1964. All right, and most of this neighborhood is going to be. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Brent. So I got a quick question. Pull up the property map again. I noticed. I think 59th Avenue is a major road.
51st,
right?
Yep.
51st. So when you're looking at location, step one, would you stay? I guess would that be to the east of 51st?
Yeah, this is beautiful. I want to stay right in this block right here as much as possible. But first, I'm looking in the neighborhood, Mike. So I'm looking specifically, I'm looking at these comps that are right there, right? I'm looking at number 1, 2, 5, 9, 4, all these 8, all of these are right in the hood, right?
So, and then if it's not in the immediate neighborhood, then do you go in that block? And if it's not in the block, then do you start going out from there?
Yep, I go, so you can see 51st Avenue here. You can see there's a 5-lane road. That's a major road.
Yep.
And then you go up and you can see that Thomas Road here is a major road. This is another 5-lane road. So you're kind of, I don't want to cross major streets if I don't have to. Yeah. All right, and the reason for that is an appraiser is going to be looking when this property gets totally rehabbed, when it's looking great, when this property is on the market or being sold to an end buyer. An appraiser is going to come in because most of the time people are going to be buying with a conventional loan. An appraiser comes in, if you're not familiar, to make sure that the bank understands the risk that they run lending the money for that buyer, right? They want to make sure that the value's there, so they get an independent contractor, an appraiser, to go out and to pull the comps. And they're going to always look in the neighborhood first and then start going out. They're going to stay in the block, all right, and then they'll expand within a mile.
So let me ask you this. An appraiser, if they can't find comps in the last 90 days, in the last 3 months, in the neighborhood, in the block, will they first time travel before they start skipping over major roads and going location-wise outside? Or what would they do first? Does that make sense?
Yeah, they will not time travel. They want to look most recent, and they will go further out.
Got it.
They
Okay.
will pull further out. Yeah. I mean, it depends on the situation, but for the most part, they'll expand their search to find a property that fits, within a mile, hopefully, and then if they have to, 2 miles. Yep. Great. That is awesome. So we're zooming in here. We're looking at these properties. I'm looking at, the first one that I see is number 1. I'm looking at this. I'm saying to myself, okay, this was built in 1964. This is 1969. This is fantastic. And your year built, you kind of want to keep it within 10 years if you can. So if you want to go 1954 to 1974 here, it might trim it down a little bit. It probably isn't a lot because this neighborhood was all built at the same time, but this gives us a good idea. So this one right here, this is beautiful, Mike, right? Look at this. So this property is MLS active at 229, okay? So we're taking a look at this. It looks okay. It's on the market. It looks like it's renovated, okay. It looks like empty pool too. Look at this, they're just putting it out there. I mean, that is crazy. This one has an empty pool. They've got it out at 229, and it is active right now, so it hasn't sold. Let's take a look real quick and see how long it's been active. And PropStream will give us that data, which is great. Proceed. Hopefully I don't get logged out. Okay, good. My team might be on it. I'm looking at the MLS details here. It looks like it's contingent, Mike. Look at this. Do you see this right here? Yeah. Contingent. You know what that means, right? It's under contract. Somebody put this property under contract in 14 days in this condition. Now, is it livable? Yes. Is it a complete safety concern that they have an empty pool? Absolutely. So it's not even like totally blown out, totally renovated. It's on the market for $229, and they already have an offer under contract from a buyer in 14 days. That is phenomenal, right? So this, I'm looking at this, it's 1,300 square feet. It's got a pool that needs renovation. Now, if this property right here, this comp, was totally renovated, I mean, you're looking at more like these. Look at this one. Look at number 3 here, Sheridan. This one went for $270. Look at this. This is what I'm looking for right here. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a beautiful property that's been completely remodeled. I'm looking to see if it has a pool. It does not. It doesn't have a pool, Mike. It's 1,200 square feet. It's the same size. It's in the same area, built in the same year, and it's sold for $270,000. And so that is the perfect comp. That is it. Because I know if my property here, if this subject property on Cypress gets renovated, not only will it go for $270, it might go for more because it has a pool, right?
So a quick question. So better comps, right? Mm-hmm. So are the best comps recently sold, because we know those sold, yep, right? And then after that, contingent or pending, yep, right? And then after that, I mean, are actives, do you look at actives?
I look at actives just to see what the competition is and to see what people are putting out. So I like that one at 229 because it's an active property there. So yeah, I like looking at it, but it went under contract super fast. I mean, it looks like it went under contract in 1 day. So we're looking at properties. This one went 270. Is there any higher? No, that's the highest sale in the neighborhood with our specific criteria. Single floor. Go to that 7 steps of comping here. Age good, size perfect, floor plan, it's a 1-story condition. It was totally rehabbed, and now we're going on to potential. And if you get a property, this property here, with a beautiful pool and and it's all renovated and it's all cleaned out, I would say typically with a pool, you add about $15,000. So I'm going to comp this thing out and put it at $285,000. Does that make sense?
And real quick on floor plan,
yep,
you're always comparing like for like, right?
Absolutely.
So single story to single story, single family to single family, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. You want to compare the single families. You don't comp it with like a townhouse or a condo or a duplex. It's got to be single family, because that's what the appraiser is going to be looking at, right? So we've got this one comped out at 285. Now, here comes the beautiful part. Here comes the magic. Here comes what do you offer on this property, okay? And I want you to follow this, and I want you to pick this apart. I want you to ask the questions. I want this to be crystal clear so that you feel bulletproof. When you have a lead, you know how to comp it, and you know how to offer on that property so that you're getting the biggest and best deals, all right? So let's get into it, all right?
I have this question.
Okay. You got a question already? Would you only look at the remodel one as opposed to as is when looking at comps and propstream? Eddie, I do. I want to know the potential. I want to know what this sells for totally fixed up. Because here's the issue that you run into, Eddie, and this is really interesting. Remember, when we put a property under contract, here's an example. Look at this. Go back to this screen here. Look at this one right here. There's one right here on Sheridan that went for 140, right? This is literally half of what we're talking about. Less than half of what we're talking about. And if you look at this property here, that's the same one. They bought it for 140, but you don't know what they actually bought it for. This is that same flip that just sold for 270. So at 140, that's the price that somebody put it under contract, but that's not necessarily the price that the cash buyer bought it for. Because remember, it doesn't record what the assignment fee was. What if there was a $50,000 assignment fee on this deal, and the buyer actually bought this for $190,000, but it shows $140,000? Now you're running all your stuff off of $140,000, and you're like, okay, I got to be around there or lower, and we'll break down the numbers. But that might be why you're missing out on deals, because you're going way, way, way too low. Fantastic question, Eddie. But remember, with the sold ones, if you see the lowest ones, it's great to bring those low ones if you need to show the property owner when you go on the appointment, to show what other people are selling similar properties to in the area. But it doesn't account for any assignment fees if it was a wholesale property. All right, that's a big deal. All right, so I want you to look at what the potential is on these and not just what the lowest comps are. All right, because that's going to show you where you can lock up this deal, and it's probably higher than you think it is, and that's what's going to help you get these deals, as opposed to losing out on a lot of deals that you're offering too low. All right, so let's look at this bad boy here. All right, so we determined ARV equals $285,000. Now, here's the tricky part. This is where people have the most questions about this. What I do is, first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to times this by 0.84. All right, let me break this down so that you are crystal clear on why I say 0.84, because a lot of the training says 0.7 on this. All right, times what it'll sell for fixed up by 0.7, and then minus the repair costs, and that's what you can sell it for. That's what you should be wholesaling it for. That's wrong. That is absolutely wrong. That's old school. Don't listen to that. Don't listen to that right now. The 0.84 breaks down like this. 10% is the ROI, return on investment, for the investor. They want to make a minimum of $28,500 on this, okay? $28,500. We'll go, I'm sure somebody's going to send in some comps that are lower priced, and this is going to change a little bit, and I'm going to show you why. But 10% is the ROI, okay? And then 6% of this is the closing cost, closing and agent costs, all right? If you were to, remember, when we're going out and we're trying to when we're finding wholesale deals, typically, or just finding anything, if you want to find a flip or whatever, it's really smooth to go and communicate with the property owner and say, hey, listen, this is a net offer to you. We will pay the closing costs. There's no other fees. This is the price that you'll get minus any liens that you have on the property, whether it be a judgment, whether it be a mortgage, whether it be a tax lien, whether it be a contractor's lien, whatever liens, they are responsible for paying that off with the price that you give them, but they don't have to pay their title and escrow and closing attorney fees. All right, it just makes it simpler. It makes them seem like it's a big win when you are paying those costs. It makes it easier math for them to understand, what am I walking away from, right? So I put in 6% for the closing costs of purchasing that, because the cash buyer not only has to pay their closing costs, they have to pay the seller's closing costs as well. All right, that's really important. So we go 0.84. Mike, are you on me with the calculator?
Yeah, and also I got a question. So the number, the 0.84 is 239,400.
Okay.
Okay. So when we're figuring out how much can we offer as a wholesaler, we got to start with our cash buyers in mind.
Yes.
And what they can ultimately sell it for after it's been fixed up.
Yep.
Right. So that ARV, that after repair value, we figure they can sell it all fixed up for $285,000.
Yep.
Right. And then they're going to have costs. Right. So they're going to have to pay closing costs, agent commissions. That's where that 6% comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want to make some money too.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to make 10% on the 285 with a minimum of 20,000. Right.
We'll get into the minimum.
Got it. Okay.
I'll get into the minimum once we have a lower price comp.
Cool. So in this
we've
comp,
got one coming
though,
up
the
from
example
Cody.
in this one is at 0.84. That's basically 10 plus 6 is 16%.
Yep.
So 100 minus 16% is that 0.84.
That's it.
Right.
Yep.
And that's where we come up with that 239,400.
That's it.
Okay. Cool.
Right.
Yep.
Now, Matt, if you would, will you pull up that matrix on estimated costs for repairs? Okay. Now, listen, take a screenshot of this. All right. You pull me off real quick. There you go. Take a screenshot of this. All right. This is really important because there's 3 different ways to evaluate this property, to evaluate any property. If you walk into a house and you see this house and it looks like it's an easy remodel, which what I mean is you just have to put carpet and paint, you got to put some new appliances in it, then it's $10,000. Right? If it needs a lot of work, if it needs some work, like, oh man, this needs some work, $25,000. And then if it's really bad, like, wow, this is bad, $40,000 for this specific property. But if you use this matrix, take a look at it again. What I'm going to look at here is, I'm going to say that this property, it has a newer roof, okay? Looks like it needs, it looks like the, windows are newer, which is great, and I'm going to say that it needs work. I'm going to say that for $25,000 I can do a lot of work to this. But remember the pool. Remember the pool. The pool needs to be taken care of. I assume that the reason it's empty is because the pool equipment stopped working and it needs resurfacing, okay? So I'm going to add an additional $10,000 to that fix-up cost, okay? I'm going to go, actually, you know, because that's a diving pool and it's much deeper and it's going to need a lot of work, I'm going to add 15 just to be safe, and I'm going to knock off $40,000 for the repairs.
Hey, Brent, quick
Yep.
question. So going back to that repair matrix, right,
Yep.
which is awesome, can we flush out just a little bit more, like and just more generically, like an easy? Is that just lipstick, paint,
Yep.
carpet, tile?
Yep.
And then what's the next one? The next
Needs
one is
work.
needs work. Would needs work be like all of that plus appliances? I mean, how would you? Can we kind of flush out
Sure.
and just give you some
Sure.
ideas of how you would categorize on a
Yeah.
per property basis?
So needs work is that it's like totally dated, and to bring it up to selling standards, to bring it up to get to the 285, like that property that we saw, it needs cabinetry, right? Not a lot. These are smaller houses, right? So these kitchens aren't huge. It needs cabinetry. It needs flooring. It needs the paint. It needs appliances. It needs fixtures. You know, all of those things add to that $25K budget there, right? And then we add, you want to add things on as you're seeing things, right? If it's a new air conditioning unit, $5,000, right? And this one might need a new air conditioning unit. So let's change that to 45. I'm going to change that to 45,000 repair because I forgot about those units looked older. All right. If it needs pool equipment, $5,000. If it needs pool resurfacing, $5,000 to $10,000. I always think that $5,000 is a good budget if it needs major major items.
Same
okay?
thing for a roof.
For a roof, it just depends on the size, but yeah, $5,000 is good for an average size home. But if it's bigger, then you go up from there. Yep.
So on needs work, would that be putting in new cabinets or just refinishing the cabinets in the kitchens and the bathrooms?
Probably new. Probably new, because this is 1960s. They probably haven't been switched out. I don't know inside there. You'd have to take a look. But yeah, I would say that you could get it done there.
So easy is just like it sounds. That's
Yep.
trash it out and
Yep.
paint it, put some carpet in, maybe
Yep.
some tile. That's it.
Yep.
Right? If we're going to
Yep.
start doing more stuff, appliances, fixtures, cabinets, stuff like that, that's a needs work, right? And then wow, this is bad. That's just like what?
It's bad. I mean, everything needs to be ripped out. It needs everything. It needs new electrical. It needs new plumbing. It needs a new roof. It needs like all these things, right? That's where, wow, this is bad. It's just like, oh my gosh, I need junk out. I need to get the smell of smoke out of there. It smells like 1,000 cats have lived in here. Those type of things. Yeah. So I'm going to put $45,000 for the repair there, and that puts us to, what is that, Mike? 194, 600? Yep.
194.4.
That's what I thought. There we go. 194.4. So that's what I know that I can sell this. This is the wholesale price.
Hey Brent,
Yep.
question. We get this a lot on social media too, but does this repair chart table work for every market?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can adjust it a little bit if you're in California, if you're in Seattle, if you're in those really high price points, because what happens is you put more, you put better fixtures and better appliances into the properties. So if you need to put more, sorry, I'm staying on, if you put more expensive items into the property, then it's going to be more. Yep. Yep. Awesome. And then that's your wholesale price, $194.4. And so I would probably be, we like making $30,000 on our deals. So I would be at $164,400, and that's where I'd start the negotiations.
Okay, so your max offer price in this case would be $164.4. You're hoping to make 30 grand.
Yep.
And sell it to a cash buyer for $194.4. And then after they do all that other stuff, they pay for the repairs, they fix it up, they pay their agents and closing costs. Hopefully they can sell it for $285 and make 10%, $28,500.
And they might be able to push that value.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. They might be able to push that value. And in this market, I would probably put this thing out at $200,000 and see what happens. Yep. Yeah, I like pushing the values right now with the lack of inventory. So I'm sure this is getting a bunch of questions coming up. So let's get to the questions. Let's go. Let's go.
I know you already asked this, but maybe explain it again.
Okay. So Chris, 84% instead of 70. It just depends. If you're in a market where the properties are over 250,000 or 200,000 really, but 250,000 is good. You want to, if you're under that, if the ARV of a property is under 200,000, then you need to put in 20,000 as a minimum ROI as opposed to the 10%. Because 10% on 150,000 is 15 grand. A lot of people don't want to take the risk of running into, and running into problems with that property and rehabbing it and putting all the effort in to only make 15,000. So 20,000 to listen. This is what I want you to understand. Real serious buyers, okay, buy a lot of these. They're flipping these things. They are going crazy with these things. They have their budgets down, okay? They've got all the discounts. They've got all their trades lined up. They've got everything, okay? So don't get too lost in the weeds about the repair budget, but use that as a guide because you don't know. Are they doing the work themselves? Do they have everything in place? If it's somebody that's like, well, I want to do a flip and I'm going to hire the guy that I call from some ad or something, it's going to be way more. The cost of repair is going to be way more. But people that are professional flippers, people that are mom and pops that want to do the work themselves, they can get the job done for this cost. Remember, it's not there are material costs, but the labor cost is really big too, right? So if the labor cost is lower because they've got their systems in place or they're doing it themselves, then they can get it done for less cost, all right? So 84% instead of 70 because I don't want you to go, if we were to go 70% on this, let's just do this again, Mike. Let's just go do this. This is why. Perfect, Chris. If we did that, okay, if we went ARV is 285, okay, And then we times that by 0.7. Where does that put us, Mike?
199.5.
199,500. And then we get rid of 45,000, right?
Yep.
And that puts us down to 154,500. And then we have to be under. That is so bad. That is so bad. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. That's crazy. Okay, so we go in there and we look at this thing, and what was it, Mike? 154.5?
Yeah.
54,500, and then you want to make 30,000 on this thing. Your max allowable offer is 124,500, right? Where mine, I could go to that seller and say, I can give you 164. That is a huge difference. You want to be competitive in your marketplace. You want to get these deals. If you offer somebody here, great, fantastic. But remember what I said? I would put it out at $200,000 as a wholesale price. That's a massive, massive deal. Yes, I want you to get that. But if you're competing, or if they've got some expectation of what they want and it's higher than that, you're going to get a lot more deals if you can offer 164.4.
So
than if you can offer 124.5.
And by the way, I mean, this is called max allowable offer.
Right.
So he could go in at 124.5.
Yeah, he could go in at 124.5.
Right? But the most that he should feel pretty comfy cozy about paying is that 164 and some change or whatever it was.
Yep.
Yep. Nice.
Yep. There you go. Great question, and I hope that makes a lot of sense. The reason that I'm breaking this down and really like taking this whole, and by the way, Jamil Damji is coming at in about an hour. He's going to come in here live. If you don't know Jamil, Jamil is the #1 wholesaler in the country. He's the #1. He has comped so many properties. He's going to come lend his expertise at the last half hour, so definitely stick around. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, if you're getting value right now from this channel, you have to subscribe. We come out with new content multiple times a day. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit that bell so you get notified. Get that juice, get that energy. You can see there's a lot of enthusiasm coming here. There's a lot of energy coming here. I want this energy for you. I want it to hit you a couple times a day to keep you going and keep you motivated and keep you excited and keep you in this world. I want to surround you in the TTP philosophy, because I know if you have quality conversations with distressed property owners, you are going to win. You're going to win massively, and you're going to find those discounted properties. When you find those discounted properties, that's what leads to financial freedom, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point. I'm not just trying to have talking points and whatever here to pump you up. This is real. This is happening every single day. People are taking action. People are following this instruction. People are going in at properties at 164 as opposed to 124, getting that deal and still making 30,000, while somebody else is going in lower based on old, outdated information, and it doesn't work. But I'll tell you this, when we get into something lower, I think we've got one on the hook here with Cody in the TTP family. He's got a great property for us to comp that's looks like it's probably under 200,000. Then I'll break it down, so stick around. What was this, Kevin in the classroom? Stick around for that. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, also about, for the show and subscribing, man, we got a sledgehammer, we got a flamethrower.
Yep.
We got a smoke machine.
Yeah. I mean, what else do you want?
I mean, come on.
What else? You know what I mean? We got. Did you see that intro with the lights and the sound and the fog machine? We got it all for you. So we're just excited. We're excited about this business. I know you're excited about this business. I know you got that fire in your belly. I hope that you have a healthy chip on your shoulder. I hope that you feel like whatever you're doing now, if it is not full-time real estate, if it's not just totally going into this business with everything you got because you've got other responsibilities and you've got other things that you're going through. I'm telling you, if you follow this instruction, you will be able to replace your income and then get into this business full time. And then it is just like rainbows and sunshine and birds chirping. And it's just the best world ever. It's the best lifestyle ever. I am telling you, and I want that for everybody watching this. So let's get going. Let's keep going with the with some questions. Good. AM. Do investors balk? I always thought that was a great word. Fantastic word, AM. Balk. At high repair estimates. Are we supposed to ballpark repair and understate repairs for a wholesaler's point of view, or do we benefit from full disclosure? I love this. First of all, here's the interesting thing. We never put out the repair budget on when we're sending out these properties. What we do, and you can download this at TTP Insider, you can download the Perfect Offer Pack. And that's going to show you, Perfect Offer Pack, that's going to show you the pictures that I want you to take. All right, the 20 minimum pictures that I want you to take in there, and that's going to give your buyers an idea of what that property is going to need. If they go in and obviously you want to tell them if there's a leak. Obviously you want to tell them if the electrical's pulled out. Obviously you want to tell them if there's fire damage, but they can see it in the pictures. If they ask you what you think it'll cost to repair, you just say, I don't know, just take a look at the pictures, you know, and just, you know, kind of come up with an estimate. If you want to see it, I can get you in to see it. If you're close on making a decision, but I'll have to let you know I've got 2 or 3 other buyers that are really hot on it. So if you want it, please let me know, because this one's going to go really fast and I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. You see that healthy tension? You see that healthy tension I'm building with the cash buyers, right? And that only happens if you have a lot of cash buyers and you're not just bringing it to one cash buyer. So you got to build up your cash buyer database. If you're wholesaling, if you're buying these to flip, I mean, come on. This is fantastic. I mean, the numbers work. You're getting 10%. If you want to make more on it, fine. You know, because you're sourcing it yourself. If you lock that thing up for $164, you put in $45,000 in repairs. You're getting a massive, massive closing if you're flipping it. And that's kind of the evolution, right? We go from finding the deals and selling those deals, making some income, getting into this, into, well, you know what? Maybe I want to get the real big checks. Maybe I want to get those fix and flip checks, and then you start getting into that rhythm, and then you really become a real estate investor, right? Real estate investors buy and hold and sell properties, right? Wholesaling is not investing. Wholesaling is sourcing the opportunity, right? Wholesaling is finding the discounted properties. Flipping, man, I'm telling you, the biggest guys in the industry now have converted, myself included, to flipping more properties because the spreads are bananas. All right. So yeah, you want to give them as much information as you can and disclose everything that you know about it. But remember, it's on them to do their due diligence. It's on them to pull their comps. It's on them to look at the properties. And I'm telling you, you build a good reputation in your marketplace and people will snatch up your deals so fast. I love it. Good. So no, I don't think investors balk at it. I think that they know their rehab budgets, and they're going to either make a decision or not, and they'll let you know their prices. Okay? Good. Brian, I assume these numbers are for fix and flips. Can you analyze a rental property? Yes, fantastic. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay, so if you've got a rental property, obviously you're looking for the cash flow, right? So it's very interesting, and this is something that Mike and I talked about, is the difference between an appreciation market and a cash flow market. Okay, a fix and flip buyer versus a rental portfolio buyer. All right, there's a lot of difference there when you're going for the rental buyers. Right? Because typically, in my experience, and it could be different around the country, but typically when you're going after properties for a rental portfolio, they don't want to do a tremendous amount of work. Yes, they'll clean it up. Yes, they'll put some lipstick on it. Yes, they'll get it rent ready, but they're not going to push it to where it's like totally crazy. So what I'll say is, when you're looking at properties for potential to add to a rental portfolio for somebody, look for the properties that aren't completely destroyed. All right, because a lot of people that have those portfolios don't want to spend that extra 6 months sending people over, doing major rehab, buying all the materials, getting everything going. They kind of want that rental to be ready as quick as possible. So you can go after properties that aren't as destroyed, aren't as beat up, right? Maybe they're dated, maybe they're kind of run down a little bit, but really they're just looking for, one, they still want to get a deal. Okay, they definitely do want to get a deal, but two, they want to make sure that the numbers work from a cash flow standpoint. Now, it depends on if they're buying it with cash, obviously, or if they're buying it with some sort of financing, right? Because if there's financing, then they have to account for that with their cash flow equations, right? Most people are wanting to get that 1%, right? That 1% purchase price to what they can rent it for, all in, right? So if you've got a property that is worth, you comped it out and it's worth $150,000, right? They want to get $1,500 in rent, okay, or more. All right. Now, oftentimes in a lot of the different markets, people are adding properties that are like $100,000, and they can rent it for $1,500. It just depends on where you're at in the country. Now, if you're going after it, what you want to make sure is fixed up with the repair costs and what you're selling it at. Does it hit this 1% rule, right? This is pretty typical. All right. Now, some people that own rental portfolios are doing it for different reasons. Sometimes it's a tax shelter, so it just depends. Push your values on these for sure. But if you've got a property that's worth $150,000, you don't want the repair budget to be more than like $20,000 to fix that up. All right. So if it's $20,000 and it's worth $150,000, you're at $130,000 right now. $130,000. Okay, you still have to account for some closing costs, but you don't have agent fees. They're not going to be reselling this property. So you can knock that down to 4% for the closing costs. Mike, will you do that for me? That is 39, 40, 4,200, $4,200. All right. Right?
30 times 0.4%.
Yep. 4,200, I think. So you're at 5,200. there's my math. And then minus those, Mike. 130 minus 52.
130,000 minus 5,200 is
124.8, and they're going to want to walk in with a little bit of equity. So I would take off 10,000 on each rental deal just to make sure that they feel good about this purchase. Now, depending on the market, maybe it's really hot. You don't have to do this, so play around with this number. But I would just use this as a guide. Take that $10,000 off of this, and they're wanting to get that property for about $114,800. All right. And then there, they can put in their $20,000. They still feel like they've got good equity, and they're still hitting their cash flow numbers. That's the perfect storm. If you want rental buyers to be buying from you over and over and over, that is the perfect storm right there. $114,800. Now, obviously, if this was different, if this was a fix and flip, you'd have to be way under this.
So for rentals, back to that the repair cost matrix.
Yep.
They probably should just be looking at what? Easy remodels?
Easy remodels.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to go into those easy remodels so that it doesn't cost too much for that rental buyer to get that property on the market. Now, the only other time that I would say that they would do a big major one is if they do a BRRRR method, right? If they do the BRRRR method, where it means they buy it, they renovate it, they rent it, and then they refinance and pull their money out of that deal. That's obviously going to negatively affect their cash flow if they're getting all their money out, but it's a good way to keep buying a lot of rental properties because you get your money out of those deals. But if it's a huge repair budget, you know, obviously you gotta get this price way lower so that it makes sense for them to BRRRR that property, and they just have to be comfortable with the timeline, the 90 to 120 days it's going to take to fix up that property and get it rent ready, and then another 30 to 45 days it's going to take to refinance, get their money back out of that property. Okay? Does that make sense? Are we good? Yeah, great question. I think that we had that question again, and I think that that's really, really, really strong. I lean towards, here's the thing, right? So this is what they'll buy it at, so then you got to go in at whatever, 10,000 under, 20,000 under, depends on where you want to go. But typically with the rental buyers, your fees are going to be lower. And that's why I go heavy on going after the worst properties, because the deals are the biggest typically. Not always, but typically they're the biggest if it needs a lot of love and if it has potential equity. Right? If they're destroyed, the equity is what you think it is. The equity is the price that you put it at. But what's the potential? That's what ARV is. ARV is the potential equity in the property once it is fixed up. Right? And fixed up appropriately. You can't just go in and bulldoze every door and make it a 1-bedroom, 1-bath and get the same price as a typical house. Right? So going in and making it a digestible flip, making it digestible is really important. Don't get into anything wacky. All right?
Good question. Are there any types of properties they should just avoid for rentals? Bedrooms, bathrooms, I don't know.
Land. I mean, honestly, from a rental standpoint, it just depends. I mean, if people are willing to rent it and you get it at the right price, I think that you can go after really good properties. The only other ones, it just depends on the area. Some places in Scottsdale here have land leases, right? Somebody sold the land on a land lease, so you don't own the land, you just own the building, and that affects a lot of things. So, but that's not in a lot of areas. So there you go. Good. What else? We've got Jamil Damji in 40 minutes. I am telling you, stick around. He is the top wholesaler. I mean, they did, what'd they do, 1,100 deals last year? Yeah, I think they had, in January, they made $900,000 in January, right? Yeah, just in assignments. So he has been comping properties forever. Him and I are just on the same wavelength when it comes to this, but I'm very curious to see if we're on the exact same wavelength. So that'll be good for everybody. First generation millionaires. I have a property that's a multi-dwelling, okay, with only one comp in the area that's also a multi-dwelling. Can I use single-family homes with the same bed, bath, and square foot as well as comps? It just depends. Some areas, I would say no off the bat, but some areas have duplexes that people convert. They take out the middle wall and they convert it to single-family properties. So it just depends on if you see that trend with a lot of the properties, then yes, you can if it's in that same area, if it looks like the same building, but they made it so that it's a single-family. But typically, you want to do like for like. If you're going after an investment, going after a multifamily, it's a different appraisal than if you're going after a single family. They'll only use the multifamily for those comps. So I don't want to set you up and you're using all these single family comps and people are trying to buy it as a multifamily and they're like, those won't work. You know what I mean? So yeah, good question. Adon, yes. Finally got a property under contract for the first time ever. Where's my bell? There it is. Come on. Here we go. Adon, you are the man. I have been dreaming about this 3 years, but started to get to action these past few weeks. Read that last thing over and over and over. We can do it. We can do it. Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But you got to surround yourself. Remember, there is a billion other things distracting you right now from your real estate goal, from your real estate dreams, from being a real estate entrepreneur, right? All these things coming at you. Oh, Forex trading. Oh, day trading with Robinhood. Oh, drop shipping. Oh, all these other things, right? Stop it. Tried and true right here. If you have that fire in your belly, if you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, if you read Think and Grow Rich, and all of a sudden your mushy brain, like my mushy brain, has got these like strong like freeways of just energy going through them, passion about this business, passion about owning American property. Oh my gosh, it's just so exciting. It is just so absolutely exciting. Yeah. I mean, just to let you know, this is just kind of off the topic. We just got accepted. We're buying a 21,000 square foot commercial building for TTP headquarters and batch skip tracing headquarters. Absolutely incredible. It's going to be, I'm telling you, the joy I felt negotiating that deal, the joy I felt getting them down on price, the joy I felt getting it on our terms, and the potential of this this project is absolutely exciting. I couldn't even imagine it 10 years ago. I mean, it would have just been like, oh my gosh, I probably couldn't have imagined it 5 years ago, and here we are. That's how incredible and powerful this business is. You get to do really incredible. Maybe you want to buy a skyscraper. Maybe you want to buy, you know, a huge apartment complex. Maybe you want to develop land. Maybe you just want to own 1,000 doors or 100 doors. Or maybe you just want to, you know, own a bunch of properties free and clear and just live that passive cash flow lifestyle. This is the business. That's what's so exciting. But it comes down with understanding deal or no deal. I remember, and this is just a quick story, I remember one of the first deals that I did, actually the first 3 deals that I did, I lost out on $92,000 because somebody assigned it for more. But I remember the like 5th or 6th deal, I thought we were smoking. We were making 30 grand. I was like, oh, I'm the greatest of all time. And then the guy I sold it to sold it for $40,000 more, because I was using the old method of like 70%. You know what I mean? Like, I had no idea. It was a deal. The first part is deal or no deal. Is this a deal or not a deal? The second part is, how big of a deal is it? How big of a deal is it? And that's why we got to be comping all the time. We got to be working on our craft. You got to go through these 7 steps of comping and making sure that you feel very comfortable if any address comes your way that you're able to comp those properties. That's what's exciting. Once you get into that rhythm of comping and comping and comping and looking at these opportunities and seeing the potential of them, oh my gosh, you're all going to have it. Adon has it. Adon's proven. There you go. He's got his first deal under contract. Now, Adon, sell that deal. You better sell that deal. Get that deal sold today. Get on the phone, start calling up all your cash buyers, get that deal sold, and let us know how much you make on it. And I'll double ring the bell. We'll double ring the bell. You know what I'm saying? All right. Can we get some applause for Don? Is it going? Yeah, okay, good. All right, Donald. How do you run comps in non-disclosure states? Yeah, it's just tougher. You know, PropStream does a really good job of estimating what it is. The number one thing, Donald, that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start building relationships with good agents in the market. All right, they're gonna know what the potential is. Now, you can get close. Listen, with PropStream TTP data, you're gonna get close on the valuation. If there's just a little bit that you're unsure about, what I would do is I would look in that neighborhood and I would go and find anybody that's flipped a property or anybody that's sold a property in there, and the listing agent, and I would call them up and say, hey, I'm closing on this deal at 507. What is this? Cypress, and I just wanted to see, I wanted to see if you could run some numbers for me and just make sure I'm not too crazy. If it was totally pristine, beautiful, totally remodeled, what do you think it'll go for? And that's going to build up your experience, and then once you know, Donald, you're gonna get into the rhythm, right? So these tools do a good job of estimating. Yeah, I've never had a problem with it helping out my TTP family members in the mentorship. So, and if you're interested in the mentorship, definitely go check out wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Wholesalinginc.com/TTP. I don't talk about it a lot on here, but this is where you really want to take it to the next level and join the TTP family. So, what's next? Do we have that one? Let's do Cody's after this. Okay? Brandon, how do you analyze a property that is zoned commercial residential? Well, just look for the comps, right? I mean, just pull the comps up in your through PropStream, or try to pull some comps from Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com. Get a good idea. Take those 3. If you don't have PropStream, take Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor, and kind of combine them. And then the best thing is, again, find an agent that has sold those properties and pick their brain. Hey, I'm closing on this deal. I wanted to see what you think it would sell for if it's totally fixed up, right? Get that insider information. Don't be afraid of calling real estate agents. They love it. They really do. If some blow you off, find another one. If they don't answer, find another one. Just be persistent. Have that hunger, baby. I know you do, Brandon. Have that hunger and get after it, and just get that insider information. But and then if it's really commercial, or if it's like something that's a major apartments or multifamily, then go to loopnet.com, and look what's available on the market around there, and that'll give you a good idea. Good question.
Hey, what's a commercial residential property.
Shop on the bottom, residence up top. So throughout the country, some are zoned both. We don't have, I mean, we have like 2 neighborhoods in Phoenix that have that, and they're all downtown. So it's not a lot, but in a lot of the older areas or older developed areas of the country, they have the residential commercial. And then from there, Brandon, I mean, obviously you want to see what the potential is for the rent for the commercial spot. That'll definitely help out. It's almost like a multifamily or house hacking where you buy a duplex and you rent one side and that side pays for your mortgage. So that plays into it as well. But talk to a real estate agent. And then what I would also do is when you're talking to that real estate agent, ask them how do they get the financing? Is it traditional financing from a bank or do they have to get special financing? That'll probably affect the amount of buyers that are able to go after those properties, which will obviously affect the value of those properties because the more demand, the higher the price.
I just pulled a quick stat. There's 1.4 million realtors in the U.S., which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's 50,000 in Phoenix. 50,000. That's the joke. That's the joke. They pull you over in Phoenix. Police pull you over in Phoenix, and they ask you for your real estate license. You know what I mean? Cheesy joke. Okay, whatever. Here we go. Let's get into this. Let's go in, and we're going to look at properties that 403. Cody, my man, there's a TTP family member. East Lexington. Lexington, there you go. And that is, where is that? Pull that up again. Avenue. Oh, I put a 3 in instead of. And that is Independence. Independence, right there. Boom. Beautiful. Look at this. Now we're going to get into it. All right. So let's look at the details on this thing. What is the first thing, everybody? We're looking at, let's take an aerial shot. Look at the aerial shot. Okay. This is going to help kind of figure things out. Where is it located? Is it by a major street? Is it backing to commercial? Is there anything goofy about the location of the property? This seems fine. You got a major street over here. This seems like it's a pretty normal residential street. So that's great. Look at this. You get a little bit of a bonus because it's a corner lot. Believe it or not, when developers are building houses, the corner lot sells for a premium because you don't have a neighbor to one side, right? So you just have neighbor to this side. You get a little bit more space. You feel like you won in the neighborhood. So having a corner lot is a premium. I'm going to pull my little guy on the side here because I want to see what this property looks like. Okay, so look at this. We got a 2-story. Overgrowth, fantastic. Ooh, look at this beautiful garage, Jesse. There you go. Isn't that nice? Beautiful garage. That would have to be renovated. All right. So we're going to go here. I want to kind of get a vibe for the neighborhood. All right. A little bit overgrown here. You've got a wall, a window AC there. You got to drive up to this. This thing's like on a hill. But look at these. Now, what do you guys notice here, Mike? Do you see this? What's the difference between that and that? Right? This one was built in 1870. Guys, it was built in 1870. All right? I'm curious to see when these were built. I have a feeling that these were built after 1870. So it's going to be interesting because look at these. Lawns are kept. Garages in the front of the house, right? These are more traditional houses. So we're going to have to really, this is going to be a great one to comp because it's going to be a challenge for sure. So you've got the walk up here. And so we get kind of an idea. This is 2,500 square feet. Okay. It's built 2,500 square feet, good size lot, corner lot. And look at this, guys. Woo! Look at this. When you see these two, oh, my heart starts pounding. My heart starts going. I'm like, yes, non-owner occupied, vacant. Yes, estimated equity is the same amount as the estimated value, meaning that they own this property free and clear, which can be a positive. It can be a negative. You know what happens when people own properties free and clear? They take their time. All right. What's going through my head right now is I need to shorten the timeline right now. I need to know when they're ready to make a decision. I need to, when I know the condition, I probably talked to him. Obviously, Cody, you've talked to him. Can you pull up did he put the condition on there, Alejandra? Yep. All right, pull up that. It needs new electrical, plumbing, sheetrock, HVAC, water heater, roof, full rehab, right?
So that would be wow.
This is
that'd be
bad.
in the yeah.
Yeah, wow, this is bad. And I love it. These are fantastic because look, it's owned free and clear. So let's take a look at the comparables here and let's make sure. The reason I do that street view is exactly what I showed you there. I want to know if these properties close to it were built in the same time, right? Where's our guy? Our guy is over here. All right, so I'm looking here, and I want to make sure you're built. Let's just try to go. I'm going to go wacky with this because it was built in 1870, and I'm going to go all the way up to like 1930. All right, I'm going to go real big on this. I don't mind. And we still have some comps. Okay, good. And they're right here. They're in the neighborhood. Look at this, guys. Now, this is interesting because I want to look at this because it seems like a lot of these were sold. These single family, see how this duplex shows here? I don't want to use that. I want to look at these sold here, but these were sold last year. And when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the square footage. I'm looking at, let's get both here. Let's look at both. Non-public, okay, good. Let's go to the active contingent pending. I don't know if they'll pull up. No, it's just showing the solds. All right, let's go and get rid of the duplexes. I want to get rid of those. Okay, and I'm looking at these properties. And remember, these are estimates. Look at this. Look at number 4. That's interesting. Let's see where number 4 is in our map. Is it hiding? I don't see where number 4 is. Oh, it's Walnut. It's the same as number 3. Okay, it's showing 188 here and 241 here. I'm going to go with the lower one just to be safe here, and I want to look at Walnut. Okay, this was built in look at this thing. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Wow. Woo, my goodness gracious. I love this house. Somebody bought this for $108. Do you know what this house would go for in Phoenix? Yeah, 500. Okay, so this is 2,100 square feet, so we're similar. It's a 2-story, which is great. This is perfect. All right, so I'm looking at this thing at 188. That is, hold on, let's just look real quick. Let's go back to that real quick. And I'm just wondering why it has a 241 estimate. This is when non-disclosure states kind of mess with us a little bit. It's a beautiful property. Now, what I want to look at is this. Okay, you see all this? You see the listing history here? This is where we're going. Boom, it took them no time at all to sell this thing. 4 days it went pending. Oh no, yeah, look at this. Also, look at what they bought. Boom, 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 boom. They bought it, they flipped it, they put it on the market. Fantastic, 188.5. That is pinnacle. I don't think that this has, I didn't see a detached garage. Let me just check. Oh, it's got a little bit. It's got a little bit. Not as big, but a little bit. I just want to make sure that I check the aerial. Let's go to the property details on this. Is it going to, I just want to check where the, where our comps are here. I just don't see where number 4 is. I don't know why. Maybe it's on it. Oh, okay, because I'm highlighting it. So number 4 is right here. So perfect. No, that's where we're at. I don't know. It's hiding from us. I assume it's in this area somewhere. It's not too far. Okay, good. So there you go. So this is within a half a mile. It's fantastic. 188,500. Woo! Okay, now look. Our property is 2,500 square feet. Okay? It's 2,500. So let's break down. Will you pop up that estimated repair cost, please? All right, so let's look at this. Okay? Let's say totally fixed up. Our property is 400 square foot bigger. All right, so this one went for $88 a square foot. Can somebody hit me a calculator? Mike ran to the bathroom. $88 a square foot times 2536. 223. That feels heavy though, doesn't it? In that area. 223 feels heavy, so I'm going to put this thing at just bigger garage. You got the outside does not look. I mean, you got to redo the whole outside. I mean, I think they stuccoed like a old house, right? You got electrical, you got all that stuff. So let's just say totally fixed up. It goes for being conservative, and I'm just shaving off a lot from a price per square foot because the bigger you go, the less price per square foot that you get. So I'm going to just put this thing at a 200,000 ARV. All right? ARV. All right? Which is interesting because it doesn't really help me break down that $20,000 minimum, but I'll do it anyway. What's that?
What does ARV mean again?
This is the after repair value. This is the fix-up value. This is, if it's looking beautiful, what does this house sell for? All right, what does that sell for? The fixed up, oh geez. Yeah, fixed up value. Fixed up value. All right? And then we times that by 0.84. Okay? And what does that put us at, Jesse? $168. Now, let's look at our matrix. Let's look at our fix-up matrix. Wow, this is bad. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that 100. It's over 2,500 square feet. So this could be in that 100K repair value. I mean, it could cost 100,000. Do you guys agree?
Especially on a house that old.
That old, that big, $100,000 into that. We're at 160. We're at 68,000. Oh, jeez Louise. We are at $100,000 for repairs. Okay, 100 for repairs. That puts us at 68,000 to sell this deal to somebody. Okay, and we're under that. So whatever you want to make, take off 20,000, 48,000 would be the offer. Okay, got it. What does he want, Cody? What does he want? Should we call Cody? You know, is he still on here?
No, but
Okay.
can you explain what 0.84 is again?
Okay, this is, for everybody coming in new, this is 10% profit for the investor, the ROI. So they're looking to make a minimum of $20,000, and then the 6% is closing costs and sales fees. Closing and sales fees. There you go. Good. Now let's say that this property.
Less than that.
Less than that what? He wants less than that?
Yep.
Oh, how much does he want?
He hasn't said yet.
Oh, Cody, lock that at less than that? Oh, we're doing this live. Oh my gosh, everybody watching, this is live. He's got this lead. I'm really curious to see what he wants. That'd be good. Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. So Cody, lock that deal up if he wants less than that, brother. Get after it. I love it. That's fantastic. All right, but let's look at this. Let's look at a property that totally fixed up goes for $150,000. All right? This is where things change a little bit. But it's only one change. Don't be overwhelmed by this. This is just boop, 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 the calculation, right? It's only a few lines here to figure out. You've got, huh?
25.
Whoa.
Yes. Hey, Cody, lock it up. Lock it up, brother. Oh my gosh. Boom. I love it. Fantastic. So get after it. Get it under 25. See if he'll take 22.5. You know what I mean? And get that thing locked up. So 150,000. Now, if it's under, if you have a property that's under 200,000, then the minimum that somebody that is going to want to do this flip is going to, that they're going to minimum want to make is 20,000. Okay? This is the ROI on a flip. Okay? Man,
So
my handwriting.
And
is-
again, it's 10% or 20,000.
That's right.
With a
Because
20,000
10%
minimum.
is only 15,000.
Yeah.
They want to get that extra amount. They want to get. It's got the juice has to be worth the squeeze. You know what I mean? If they're going to do this deal, they want to make some money on it.
So it's really, they want to make, so 20K or 10%, whichever is greater.
Now, there's people probably screaming at this, watching this right now, that's like, all the buyers in my area want to make a minimum of $50,000 on any deal that they do. Great. Get more buyers. I'm telling you, there are buyers in your market that will beat that buyer like a drum, because they're going to be doing all these deals, making 20K, and that guy's going to be sitting around for one deal a year. You know what I mean? Maybe. And that'll probably be one that they have to source themselves. All right? So don't fall into that. All right. Now, what I have found is in some small, tiny markets, there's like 4 or 5 buyers that do all the flips, and they like communicate and they like really try to grind wholesalers to dust because they want to do their own, they want to source their own deals and get it, and they'll tell you that they will never do that deal for blah blah blah, so that you cancel and they swoop in and get that deal. So if you're in a really tiny market that's got like this, and it's very rare. Listen to me, it's very rare. In big markets, it's impossible. That's not real. If you're in a market that has over 50,000 people, this isn't real life. Okay? If you're under and there's only a few buyers, a few contractors that do all the work, then what I would suggest is partner up with somebody and do these flips yourself. Don't wholesale them. If you're going to stay in that little market. If you want to go to that bigger market that's close to you and go after those bigger deals and those bigger assignments, fantastic. But if you're in a smaller market and these buyers are trying to like grind you so that you have to cancel and then they swoop in and get that deal, take that deal down, get a partner, get an investor, flip that deal, make some money, and keep running. Okay? That's the strategy there. So don't come and tell me in Indianapolis, in Houston, in Las Vegas, in Tampa Bay, they want a minimum of $40,000 on a flip. That's a lie. No, that's not true. Go find the buyers that'll pay more. Go find the buyers. Add more buyers. Okay? That's the truth. All right? But $20,000 minimum. Keep meat on the bone for these smaller price or these lower price properties. $20,000 ROI on the flip minus the 6%. Mike, where are we at here? So we got 130, 6% of that is 9,000, so 121?
106.
Yep.
78,
No. 150 times 121, yeah, okay. 121,000. Let's say that it needs $25,000 of rehab. It's pretty light. It's not it's nothing crazy. We're there. We're at 94,000 for that sale. 4,000, and then you go under that. All right. If you're under that, jeez Louise, this is. I need to have like somebody's hand up here doing this. Anyway, you guys get it. 94,000, boom, right there. Be under that, and you're making deals. All right. So this is. Are we getting the reps in? I want to get the. That's what we wanted to do in this show right here. Remember, Jamil is here in 15 minutes. Man, time is flying. We're having a lot of fun. 15 minutes. This is just pure. We're not cutting to any deal breakdowns. We're not cutting down to any book reviews. We're not cutting down to any cold call breakdowns today. This is straight just, I want to pound this because I feel like this is the most confusion and most people have the most pushback on this, and I want you to try this out and prove me wrong, but you're going to win. You're going to win big time. Make sure that you subscribe if you're getting value out of this and you have not subscribed. It takes 2 seconds. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you are up to date with all the content that we put out. We put it out all day long, every day. So make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell. All right? Here we go. Also, guys, listen, if this is your first time, everybody that's watched this a bunch of time, you guys are already in TTP Insider. If this is your first time watching, go to ttpinsider.com. I am telling you, I have more free resources for you breaking down all of the processes and everything you need to building your cash buyer database, to knowing what to do on appointments. I mean, people charge $40,000 for the stuff that we have free at TTP Insider. I mean, I've seen everybody's course. I've seen everything, right? It's wide open to me. I've seen everything. I'm telling you, we've got it free in TTP Insider. You need to join now. It's absolutely bananas. You get all the resources that you need, especially as you're building that momentum. Don't just go out there and hunt, and lead generate all the time and not convert those deals and get the most out of every single deal. All right? Good. Questions? Samuel, good to see you, bud. At what point, Samuel is a big supporter of the Wholesale Hotline. So great to see you. Wholesale Hotline's live at 5 o'clock Arizona time every Monday with Jamil, with Pace Morby. It's absolutely incredible. But at what point should you start hiring, and in what order should you hire out jobs? This is something that I love from Sean Terry. I give him full credit for it. $30,000 for 3 straight months, and then hire people. Right? Now people will go, no, I don't want to do that. right? You know? Well, the first person that most people want to hire is a phone prospector, because a lot of people are lulled into the idea that a $5 to $10 an hour overseas caller is going to change their financial future, all right? You will get some deals, maybe, all right? But you're not going to net a lot because you're going to have to spend a lot. Right now, for an overseas caller, it takes 800 hours of calls minimum per deal. 800 hours, all right? Yeah, they're about 5% as good as you. So what I would say is do this work as much as you can yourself, build up your healthy bank account, and then once you have that healthy bank account and you feel the financial responsibility of another human being in your hands, you feel and respect that, then you start hiring people, all right? And that's how you start building your business. And then from there, go ahead.
So that's a great point from Sean. And then something you talk a lot about is have 1,000 conversations.
Yes.
Before you do that as
Yes.
well, right? And then
Yeah.
also, if they are going to hire it out, who should they hire it out to? If not Filipinos, or who should they hire it out to?
Yeah, so a couple different things. Good point there, Mike. So I like the 1,000 contact challenge, because after you've talked and asked 1,000 strangers if they would consider an offer on their property, you can talk to anybody about real estate for the rest of your life. I'm telling you. You can. That is a skill that once you build does not go away. It bleeds into every part of your life, and I want that for you. That's why I don't want you going, you know what, that sounds great, but I'm going to just hire this guy that lives in the Philippines, and he's going to make calls, and hopefully I get a deal. No, put the work in. Put the work in, even if it's an hour a week. There's 168 hours in the week. You can't find 20 for your real estate future, for your dreams, for this business? Well, 20 seems like a lot of hours. It's not. You got 168. I mean, just get after it. Get after it yourself. And then from there, if you're going to hire callers, if you're going to go with the Filipinos, you got to use callingreps.com. They're already trained. They know the TTP script. They know how to use the dialers. They know what they're looking for. They know how to pre-qualify based on the condition, timeline, motivation, price. And if you want the Cadillac, it's callmotivatedsellers.com. callmotivatedsellers.com. Make sure you use TTP in there. Those guys get bombarded with people going after them, and they always push, because I really work with them, and the people that go there like stick around the longest because they're serious about the business. Use that TTP code. It pushes you to the top of the list, and they know you're serious. So tell them TTP sent you. All right? Fantastic. There we go. Sorry, I thought you had something there, Mike. What else we got, Alejandra? Before Jamil is here in 9 minutes. What service do you all use to find your leads? A couple different things, Jake. So first, we do Driving for Dollars. I think if you're starting out, you need to build up your Driving for Dollars list. It's a custom list to you. Don't do all the heavy lifting. Just get Deal Machine, dealmachine.com/TTP. And you get, it's $40, you get $9 off. It's the biggest discount they have, and it gives you all the owner information. And start driving around in the streets looking for the ugliest houses. Or on this channel, I have a virtual Driving for Dollars 2.0 video that you can watch and just pull these addresses from Google Street Maps. And then we use PropStream to pull all of the other lists. So if you go back to some of the previous episodes here on real estate investing with Brent Daniels, we pull those lists, and that'll give you some good instruction there. So all of them, by the way, if you go back to these shows and start watching them from the beginning, they're all broken down kind of timeline where all the action is. So just look in the comments, and then you can skip right there and be in a good spot. Yeah, there you go, Jake Hole.
Also, if Jake becomes an insider, we've got a Driving for Dollars training that's free inside of there.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. Michael Martinez. After skip tracing a list of 20,000, I scrubbed out the DNC, left me with only 11,000 leads. Do you call the DNC list as well? I don't. Some people risk it. Some people don't. Some people are like, they got bigger fish to fry. I don't suggest it. I don't want you, getting any kind of violation or whatever. So we remove the DNC. Good question. Brent Brandon, there he is. Boom. TTP family, here we go. When is it right to redeem non-refundable earnest money from the title company? My buyer dragged his feet and didn't close on the last day, and now we are 2 days behind close of escrow. Brandon, I would say right now, immediately, okay? I would talk to the title company and say, what do you need to release the earnest money to me? They're not performing at the time, and they might say that you need to give them notice. They might say that you need to do X, Y, and Z. You need this filled out or signed. It just depends. But talk to the title company and see what you need to get that released. But get it released. Put pressure on them right now. You know, hopefully they're communicating and they're just kind of being slow with it. Hopefully they're not daisy chaining it and still trying to sell that deal. Daisy chaining means they get the property contract assigned to them and then they try to assign it to somebody else. So just make sure that if they are the buyer, just communicate with them really well. Give them as many chances as possible. But right now you're in a tough, uncomfortable spot with that seller, and I hate that. That's the worst. So to avoid that, make sure, and I'm sure that you already did, but this is for everybody else out there, make sure that you are communicating with that cash buyer 5 days out, 4 days out, 3 days out, every single day, making sure that they're getting everything done. If they're like, oh, you're bugging me too much, great. If you feel confident that they are getting there, that they've got their ducks in a row and they're going to close that deal, that's where you want to be. Okay, that's where you want to be. Bug them. I don't care. Just make sure that you feel confident that they're going to close. All right? Good. Best way to find and build a cash buyer's list. Billy, TTP Insider, download the guide. I mean, I could go off for, you know, I think we did a cash buyer, what was it, 2 weeks ago? The show? Cash buyer breakdown. Go back to the previous show. We've got that all broken down in TTP Insider. In the toolbox, it's got a cash buyer pack that'll show you exactly how to pull all of those. Okay, that'll give you a lot more detail than I can go over right now. Obviously, you want to be adding the real estate agents that have listed flips or have closed and sold listed flips in the area, in the neighborhood, or in the block, or within, you know, a half mile of the property that you're looking to sell. You can go into all the real estate investor groups and start, you know, trying to build up a relationship there. I always like going to the admin. This is a little hack. Go to the admin or whoever set up the real estate investing group and send them a DM and just add them to your cash buyer database. Yeah.
So I think Jamil's here. Should we give him some lights and some smoke machine action?
We should, if he's ready to come in. I don't want to blow it before he's in here. Can we keep these lights on, or will it just not look as cool? All right. So we're pumped. We got Jamil Damji, the #1 wholesaler in the country here, and he's going to, hopefully, if you guys have a deal, he can help us break it down right now, or he can go over his guidelines on how he comps his property. So we'll do that. I'm going to give him a fresh, clean little deal here, and then we'll get him pumped up and ready to go. So I'm excited about this. Jamil probably comped, I don't know, probably 50 houses a day, we'll ask him, as he was building his business. And he owns a company called KeyGlee, keyglee.com. You should definitely check that out. If they're in any of the markets that you're in, I would highly suggest that you reach out to them. Their big thing is they are a disposition business. They've got the biggest, most robust cash buyer database in the markets that they're in, without a doubt. And they're a great resource. They'll help you comp properties, and they will help you to sell your deals, right? And before we get into that, if you're getting a ton of value, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. We come out with great stuff every day. Just instruction so that you can be as successful as possible. There's no fluff. I mean, you go to other YouTube channels and it's all like, hey, what's the most searched thing that people are looking for? Let's do a video on that and just build it with a bunch of fluff and leave all the goodies until the very end so people have to watch longer and they get more pushed by the algorithm or whatever. You'll see that we put it out, and we put it out raw, and we put it out exactly how you want it so that you can start implementing it into your business. That's what we do. So, yeah, make sure that you subscribe. We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Jamil, you ready? Here we go. Got the mic on. Hold on. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I got a
got the lights, we got the fog, we're going for it. How about that?
Amazing.
Amazing. That's your X on the ground so that you look perfect here, and this is my X on the ground, so it'll be perfect there.
First of all, this studio is amazing, and you're amazing.
Yep.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's up? Wow, it looks so shiny and beautiful in here.
Dude, this is what we're doing. This show is legit.
There's only one other place that I'd like to comp properties in, and that's at my house. So this is the second best.
This is perfect.
This is perfect.
This is perfect. So what we've been doing is we've been pulling some comps. We've been looking at it, but the real question is when you're looking at a deal, we look at what do we offer, right?
Yep.
We look at the ARV, that's the first part, that's comping,
Yep.
right? So we kind of went through that, we really dug deep into it. You've got your kind of list of the ways that you comp. Will you pull up the 7 steps? This is my version of that, right? Just making sure that you're comping very similar properties, making sure it's digestible for when an appraiser goes in and has to comp these properties, that we're looking at the end buyer when it comes to flips.
Yep.
And I broke down some about rental properties, right?
Yes.
The difference there. But I'd love to hear your take on the difference between comping a property that'll be rental versus comping a flip.
Love it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we don't, in our market here in Phoenix, we're an appreciation market.
Right.
It's not a huge cash flow market.
Right.
We're not comping a lot of properties that become potential rental
Rentals.
portfolios.
Exactly.
But in the other markets that you guys are in,
Yes.
there's a lot of that. There's
Correct.
a lot of rental portfolio buyers that you guys deal with, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So what's interesting about that concept, right, is that you've got 2 different types of markets. You've got high appreciation, high demand markets, and then you've got low appreciation, low demand markets. And you can figure out what that looks like by just looking at a graph of the appreciation rates of major cities across the United States over the last 10 years. And that'll tell you, right? You look at markets like Los Angeles, you look at markets like Phoenix, you look at markets like Dallas. We've had an amazing appreciation. And that's fantastic. However, on cash flow, we're like, you're good if you're at the 1%.
Right.
And what do I mean by 1%? For every $100,000 I spend, I get $1,000 a month in rent. That's the multiple you need to think of, right? Every $100,000 of dollars I spend on the house, I get $1,000 a month in rent.
Yep.
That's a good deal in a high appreciation, high demand market. So if you're looking at something that's a buy and hold potential, if you think, hey, I can get this for around 100 grand, or let's say I can get this around 200 grand and it'll rent for $2,000 a month, that's a great cash flowing property in that kind of market. But you give me that multiple in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm going to hang up, right? Because I want 2% in a market like that. So you look at a low appreciation cash flow market. For every $100,000 I spend, I want $2,000 a month in rent. Why? Because as an investor, I can't bank on appreciation. All I'm going to get is cash flow. Right? So if you think about this from the point of view of the investor, they're looking at this like, how is my money has to work for you, right? Money has to work for you. When you have cash, that cash has to work for you. You can't just sit in the bank and allow inflation to make it worthless. So investors are going to look at, if I park 100 grand here, is it going to appreciate and give me cash flow, and will that end up being better than the high cash flow I get in a market where I won't get appreciation?
Now, is it price point specific? So you said Birmingham. So obviously, if it's 60,000, yes, you want to get 2%.
Correct.
What if it's 200,000?
You know
what I mean?
There could be a point of diminishing returns,
right.
And I think that's very likely going to happen at the higher price point.
I thought it was 150.
Yeah, about 150. 150 is going to be your cap there.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right. You're going to get to a point where that's where you're going to be.
Well, so what I did here, and just this is just so that everybody gets it, and they'll switch the cameras here. So what I did here is I do ARV.
Yep.
This is for flips, okay? And I times that by 0.84. Okay, because I know that 10% is the ROI that a investor is going to be looking for above an ARV of 200,000. Okay. So I have a $20,000 minimum for the return that a flipper is going to be looking for. What do you think of that?
Well, are you minusing repairs here now? What do you?
I'm going to minus repairs after this. So don't. They're here.
Here's where we're going to differ, right? Because I feel like I feel like when you got to do all of this, you are going to get lost.
Okay.
And this is where a lot of guys get lost because they start, well, what's my WMAO? What's my maximum allowable offer? And now I'm doing all this. So break this down for me.
And then I go, and then the 6%
Yeah.
is closing costs and sales.
Okay.
Sales costs.
Okay, now what about your repairs and all
And then
that?
I minus the repairs.
Okay. And then?
That is the wholesale price. That's what I can wholesale it for.
Okay. That's your wholesale price.
Yep.
So you're not minusing your assignment fee or whatever.
Well, and then I go in here. This is what I'll sell it for.
Yep.
And then I build in our business, we build in $30,000 for a minimum assignment fee.
Okay.
And then, but a lot of places it's $10,000. A lot
Yep.
of places, it just depends on the market. But then that is my MAO.
Okay. See, this is, in my opinion, this is great, and it can work. But we're at such an aggressive market right now that you're gonna have a hard time getting offers accepted like this.
Bro, people are talking about 70%.
Yeah, I know. You bumped up to 84.
They won't even be in the ballpark.
They're not going to be in the ballpark. Now again, we do this at volume,
Yeah.
right? And we're not making $30,000 assignment fees.
Right.
So again, guys, I'm going to preface this conversation with we're taking smaller bites, but we're taking lots of bites.
Yep.
Right. So how do I value this?
Doesn't it look good on this?
It looks amazing. I'm like in love with myself right now. I'm like, wow.
Look at the camera.
Look at how high def I am. Ooh. Oh, I got to look at the camera, not at me. That's what I keep doing. I say, okay.
Yeah, all right.
So let's clear it up.
Okay.
All right, so may I take your
Please.
spot? Two types of markets, right? I said there was a high appreciation, high demand,
Yep.
low appreciation, low demand. Let's start with high appreciation, high demand. Okay? That's it. That's where we're going to start.
Yep.
So, in a market like that, so like Phoenix, where we are is 70% of ARV. That's it. And that's for cosmetics. That's
Yeah.
for a cosmetic. So what do I mean by cosmetic?
Yep.
That means that, I'm not doing the roof, I'm not doing electrical, plumbing, foundation, fire, none of that crap.
Will you put up the little graph?
This is kitchens, this is
So this
painting.
is what I broke down for everybody,
Love it.
right?
Yeah. So,
Easy, needs some work, and wow, this is bad. So
okay,
you're talking
needs
work.
work.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
so this is needs work, okay?
Yep.
So that's 70% of ARV. That's it. That's where I'm buying. So I'm buying at 70% of ARV, and guess what I can make on
Not
top of this?
minus repairs.
Not minus repairs. 70% of ARV
Yep.
for a cosmetic job,
Okay.
and I can still make 10K or more, 10 to 15K actually. Ooh,
Yep. Yeah,
ooh.
that's fine.
10 to 15K
Yep.
on that deal. And I'm going to get way more offers accepted like this. I'm just saying,
Yep.
right? Now, if it's not cosmetic, if it's like a fire burner foundation,
Yep.
I'm here. This is a full gut remodel, full gut, big problems in the house.
Now, is that up to a certain price? Like, if you need a full gut and it's a $700,000 house, you're going in at $350,000?
If I need a full, and I'm talking, there's foundation problems, probably fire and stuff. Maybe I could bump up to like
Okay.
$450.
Okay.
It does definitely bump up at a higher price
Okay.
point. But this is pretty much standard for me.
Love it.
And again, we can make 15 to 20K,
Yep.
assignment fee on that.
Okay.
And that's truly it. Having this math be this easy allows me to make offers fast. This way I'm not wasting time doing rehab. Oh my gosh, guys, trying to calculate a rehab, that's like
That's why I put
it's
together
gonna,
this
yeah, it's
little
gonna
chart.
take you half an hour to even make an offer, right?
Right.
Let alone your comp. It takes you 15 minutes to comp. It shouldn't, because if you're going to tune in at 2 o'clock today, I'm going to teach you how to comp in a minute. But again,
Yeah.
this is for a high demand, high appreciation
Yep.
market. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Good.
Okay, great.
So-
Let's clear this off.
Do we have
Guys,
questions on that?
so real quick, so Jamil, so in high appreciation market like Phoenix, LA, Dallas. So just for easy numbers, if the ARV was 100K,
Yeah.
you would offer that seller
70,000.
70 grand. That's
Yep.
what you'd try to lock it up at.
Yep.
Nice.
And I'm going to sell it at 80
Nice. Cool.
all
Okay.
day, every day. Yep. Great. Awesome. So let's. Oh my God, there's a flamethrower here.
You know there is. You know there is.
Okay. So the next kind of market is low appreciation, low demand. Okay. In a market like this, on a cosmetic remodel,
Yep. Yep.
I'm at 50% of ARV for cosmetics. okay? And I'm still going to make $10K for my assignment fee.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I was going to be a doctor.
Mine's way worse. Mine's way worse.
So that's where I am on cosmetic remodel. Now, let's say I've got full gut, right? What do I want to be there? And that'll give me around a 10 to 15K assignment.
Beautiful.
Simple, dimple.
Love
Easy.
it.
This lets me get through, get in and out, lickety split.
Do we have questions on this?
No.
Everybody's good? Everybody's got a feeling. Come here.
Everyone's just listening.
Okay,
Okay.
good. So there you go. That's the one part. Now the other part is comping it,
Yes.
right? The
Yeah.
ARV.
Yes.
So you got to figure that out. So for years and years and years, you were just pulling up Zillow on your phone.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
No, because Zillow has adjusted their app. They've also adjusted their feature on the computer because they're so focused on being a buyer right now that they're not really interested in your utilizing their app for informational purposes now. They
Right.
really want you on the app to submit an offer, right? And so they've made it very difficult to work. And thankfully, Batch was in tandem. At the same time Zillow was wrecking their system, Batch was building their amazing system, right? And so their comping tool, and you know, we've been involved in the construction of the comping tool from day one. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I've been able to get in and out again. Took me a week or so to figure it out.
Yep.
Now that I have it understood, I'm comping houses in 30 seconds to a minute flat.
So give them some guidelines. You know, I gave them my 7-step guidelines. Go through yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your breakdown
Yeah,
of how.
do-
When you look at this.
Yes.
When you look at a house, and you see, do you look at the satellite on it?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Why?
I just want to see what's around it, right? I
Uh-huh.
want to see roof colors. I
Yes.
want to see, if I can find traffic lines in the streets. I'm trying to get a feel for the hood, right? When I see the satellite, I can see, oh wow, you know what looks like a traffic road on the drawing map. When you look at it on satellite, now you realize it's a freeway, right? Or on the little picture map, you think, or when it's like the animated map, you say, oh wow, that looks like a commercial building next door. And when you look at it on satellite, it's a junkyard. It's a big difference, right? Big difference between a commercial building and a junkyard. That's going to take off a tremendous amount more money on the property.
Yeah.
But what things am I looking for? I love to keep my comps real close, real concentric. And why is that? Because your end buyer is going to very likely get a loan on it, whether or not they sell it to an end user who's going to live in it. Or if they're going to refi it to pull money out to keep it as a cash flowing property. Either of them is going to need to have a lender involved.
Yep.
And if a lender gets involved in a deal, that means an appraiser is getting involved in the deal, which is why I use appraiser rules when I'm comping my properties.
Yep.
Appraisers won't go as far out as a mile to find a value.
No.
They're going to want to stay a quarter mile from the property. They're only going to use properties that are within plus or minus 200 square feet of the subject. What does that mean? If my subject property is 1,000 square feet, I can only use a comp that's 800 to 1,200. If I have a 1,400 square foot house, I can't use that comp because now the dollar per square foot skews out.
Yep.
Right? And so you can only use comps that are plus or minus 200 square feet. In addition to that, you can only use comps or houses that are built within plus or minus 5 years of construction. And why is that? Because different build generations used different construction materials.
We pulled up one that was built in 1870.
Yes.
Next to houses built like in the last 30 years.
Right. Big difference, right?
Yeah.
And I see, and again, it's a beginner's mistake, and don't feel bad if you've made the error. It's a normal thing, right? We don't know. But for instance, and that rule's going to change. In some build generations, like between 1890 to 1930,
yes,
there wasn't a lot of building going on.
I did the same thing.
Right.
Didn't we pull it to 1930?
There wasn't a lot of building going on, so they're using the same construction materials. It was the same build generation.
Yeah.
But between 1990 and 2010, 2 or 3 different build generations in there, right? And so you're saying, well, Jamil, that's only 20 years, and you went 30, 40 years, and you call that the same. Well, that's because we've advanced very rapidly in the last little while, right? And so you need to understand build generation, and that's why I like the rule of plus or minus 5 years. And then once you get into those older houses, you can start to get a little bit more flexible. But I'm not comparing a 1930 build to a 1950 build.
Nope.
Different stuff.
Different stuff.
Different stuff.
Well, and we're not going 2 stories versus 1.
Exactly.
We're
It
not
has to be the
going
same property type.
multi-family, single family.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Flat roof to pitched roof. Oh, that's a big one, right? A lot of cities. There was a time when people were building with these flat roofs, and then they started doing pitched roofs, and there's a huge difference in insulation, energy efficiency, and that's why flat roof properties tend to be worth less than pitched roof properties. In addition to that, I don't want to ever leave my subdivision. Right? If I'm leaving my subdivision, I can almost guarantee there was different building standards, different builder, different architecture. And when I'm doing
different
that,
floor plan, different vibe. Yeah.
Completely. So you really want to stay within the subdivision when possible. And what's a good way to find out? Because often we can't see what the subdivision is. Right? It's tough. Like, well, I can't. How am I going to know if this is the same subdivision as that? If you cross the major road, you probably left the subdivision.
Right.
That's the rule.
Yep.
So don't cross a major road. Keep your comps tight to that, and you should be okay.
So you get an address.
Yes, sir.
Satellite view it.
Yes, sir.
What next?
So then I'm going to look around at what's sold right nearby.
Yep.
Right nearby. I don't want to go very far. And if you have to go, if your subject property is here and there's a bunch of sales, new renovated sales right nearby, but you're pulling your comp from right over here, that's gymnastics in my opinion. All right, you're basically bending your leg over your head to try to tell a story of value, and no one's going to buy that.
Yeah.
When you've got better options right nearby, go with those options. And again, you're trying to understand the way that your buyer is going to look at this with an objective viewpoint, because their dollars and cents are on the line. And you should be looking at it the same way, because if you're not in alignment with the way that your buyer thinks, you're not going to sell a lot of deals.
Yep. What was that question that popped up? Oh, I wanted to answer this. Yeah. So what I would look at here is, what I always think of is, I would Google the median sale price of your market, and if it's over 300,000, you're in an appreciation market.
He's 100% right.
You know, if you're under that, or if it's like low 2s,
then you're in low demand, low appreciation market.
but
Correct.
good cash flow.
But great cash flow, yes.
Right. Right. So there you go.
And
Just
some
to
of those
Google it.
low demand, low appreciation markets are starting to appreciate. We're in an unprecedented, uncharted waters right now, guys. We saw what? 19% appreciation in fees. Is that true?
11.
11? Okay, yeah, I hear different stories.
In the first quarter, 11%.
11% in a quarter?
Yeah.
That usually you get 7% in a year.
On a good year.
On a good year.
Yeah.
Right? So I've been saying it for a while now. Housing crisis, guys. We're going to see low appreciation, low demand markets start to really appreciate. They're going to start to look a lot like the high appreciation, high demand markets,
Nice.
in my opinion.
Nice.
That's where I think we're headed.
How would you choose your comps for a gut job? Would you use new construction comps or just fully rehabbed?
No, I'm not going to, unless my property is new construction, I'm not going to use new construction.
Exactly.
I'm going to use a rehab to a rehab, right? A full gut job just means I'm taking off more. So am I going to be at 50% of ARV, or am I going to be at 30%? Am I going to be at 70% or 50%? I'm just making that adjustment at 20% for a full gut.
It's so funny because I was breaking down the numbers, 80 to 84% minus the repairs, and you're like 70%, and everybody's like 70% minus repairs.
Minus wholesale fee. Honestly, and again, look, this is
a lot of people don't believe me. A lot of people
listen,
are like,
if you find a deal in Phoenix that's a cosmetic remodel at 70% on the dollar, I am your guaranteed buyer all day. You want to make $1 million? Find me houses.
All right. And well, you're in a lot of other markets too.
Yes, yeah. KeegleyDispo.com.
Yeah, I told him. Keegley, that's great. Yeah, just go for the fully rehabbed ones that are similar and look at what the potential is. Now, sometimes a fully remodeled house in a really good area goes for, close, 85% of like a new build.
Yeah,
you know what I
it
mean?
can
Just
get there.
depends.
It can get there, for sure.
New builds are always going to be like buying a new car.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's always going to be a premium, right? And as soon as they buy it, it goes down. No. Jamil, How do you ask the same agent to send you deals and ask to help you dispo your deals to their investor list? Seems like there would be a red flag to them.
I would never do that. I'm not going to go to an agent and say, hey, bring me a deal. Hey, take it back.
Right.
Right? That's not going to work. But what I could do is I could go to an agent and say, hey, bring me a deal, and I get the deal. And then I could go to another agent who works with investors and says, hey, here's one for your guys. Right? So that's the play. It's not, you're not going to get it under contract and hand it right back to them because they're going to say, well, what do I need you for?
Here, Mike.
Yep.
It's like your chest is too powerful. There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. That's great, and I think that's really important. And I think what he's also kind of talking about here is, okay, this guy's sending you deals, but maybe this guy is looking for different area, and maybe you can provide them with some deals that you get from somebody else in a different area.
So, for instance, Monique Walker, again, another agent that I work with, #1 agent in the United States, says, what was it, fast track agent or something like that? Anyways, she's fantastic. We do business all the time. She'll send me a deal, but she also works with investors, right? So she'll send me properties that I contract. I take some down, and the majority of them, 90% of them, I wholesale.
Yep.
But she also works with rehabbers. So she's constantly looking at my inventory to see what's available because she likes to take those properties and then sell them to her investor clients who will then buy from her. She makes a little bit of money when she, in the wholesale transaction. Usually her fee there is not a full 3%. It's a $5,000 or $10,000 fee that she'll mark on top. But then she'll get the listing after that. So for her, it's like a double whammy.
Yep. Love it. Good question. Guys, you got Jamil here for another 10 minutes. You got to pepper him with questions. He's going.
Will I go back to, of course. This is a major rule. I will time travel before I'll leave a subdivision every time. Every time. And why is that? Because an appraiser will do the exact same thing. They're going to look at it and say, hey, I'd rather make an adjustment for appreciation over the year. So if I can find a comp that's nearby and I know that we appreciated 7% over the year, I'm going to make the adjustment of 7% and add that rather than cross a major road and use a completely different product to find my value. So yes, absolutely, hop in the DeLorean before you cross the street. Where is the website for Jamil Dispo? You know, I should register JamilDispo.com. Don't do it, but I should. You can, for anything that's in Phoenix, so Arizona, Idaho, or Texas. You can come to me directly. Just DM me in my Instagram. It's @JDamji. But in any other market,
spell your last name.
@JDamji. And that's for Arizona, Idaho, and Texas. But in any other market, you can go to Keyglee, that's KEYGLEE, KeygleeDispo.com. KeygleeDispo.com. Submit your property there, and then the general manager for that market will reach out to you and help you out.
Guys, it's a phenomenal resource. A lot of my TTP family goes through Keyglee for not only just verifying the comps but selling the deals.
Yeah, and there's no obligation. If you use us to help you with numbers, that's fine. You know, we do this as a service, and then if there's a way that we can work together, amazing.
Yep. So are you Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, Austin, anymore in Texas?
For now, that's where we are.
Okay.
You know, that's where the action is. Again, you want to stay where the action is, and then not that West Texas doesn't have a lot going on for it. West Texas is great, and we are talking to a few people about potentially having a West Texas franchise. But at the moment, those are the markets we're in Texas.
Mike.
So I just looked at the website, KeygleeDispo.com/directory, and that's where the list of all the markets that you're in is just right there.
Yes, sir.
Easy. Nice.
Nice.
That was a smooth transition. Oh.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I got the whole team here.
Yeah.
Come on.
I always thought I took deals to the title company and they did everything. Just saw your video that California has title and escrow companies. What do I do with my deals? So, you're correct. In California, it's a little bit strange, but California is a little bit strange.
It's a little strange.
Right? We just gotta understand. So they do have title and escrow. Oftentimes they're in the same building.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not like there is a separation from them. But escrow, look at escrow as where they're going to hold the money.
Right.
Right? That's where they're going to hold the money.
They're the middleman.
They're the middleman. And look at title as they're going to look at the title. They're going to go line by line to make sure, okay, is there any liens, judgments? Do we have the right people here? Are there any encumbrances, rights of way, CC&Rs, things of that nature? So why they split it up in California, I'm not sure. But if you're looking for an
Make more
investor,
money.
make more money.
Make
yeah.
more money.
You're looking for an investor-friendly title company in your neck of the woods, send me a DM on Instagram. I'm happy to help. We've got referral partners that we can put you in touch with, and by all means, use them. These are companies that we vetted to make sure that they...
You're going to get a lot of texts.
Yeah, that's
You're
okay.
going to get a lot of DMs.
That's fine. That's fine, guys. Just be nice, because it takes me, a day or so, or maybe a week to get back, but we will. The beauty of it is that all of these title companies that we've talked to are investor friendly, so they'll do assignments, blind HUDs, double escrows, so you don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation like you're talking to a drug dealer.
What's a blind HUD?
Do you do assignments?
Yeah.
Oh, do you do
Yeah,
double?
yeah.
You know how many I own a title company. You know how many times we get a phone call from somebody thinking they're doing something bad?
Yeah.
They'll call the escrow
Yeah.
officer like, "Do you do assignments?" It's weird.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Like, you're not doing anything wrong, guys.
Yeah.
America was built on contracts, and all you're doing is figuring out how to use the tool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you mentioned something there. Oh, we'll just keep going. Yep. Why is 70% better than what Brent uses, which is 84%? It seems that you can offer sellers more money and still make profit for yourself.
Well, no, Brent's using 84% minus repairs.
Right.
Right? So I'm doing 70%. I'm not minusing repairs. I'm just making an adjustment depending on if it's cosmetic or full gut. I bet you our numbers are gonna be very similar to each other. I just want to do this quickly. That's why I do this fast. I don't want to have 3 more line items that I got to think about when I'm doing my thing. I'm looking at the pictures. Is this full gut or is this cosmetic? And then I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got
There's a lot more math involved there, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm just trying to get down to where it's at with the, I want to get back to a breakdown.
They're both around like 140
Right.
for an offer.
Right.
Got it. Yeah.
So numbers.
It shakes out. Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, how do you comp undeveloped land? This is
Yeah.
one of my favorites. So, first things first, is there developments nearby? That's what's important, right? Are there developments nearby? Second, you got to look at the zoning. What's it zoned? What's the use going to be? Is there a potential for a rezone? Now, let's assume we've got residential zoning. So if we get into the whole, well, it's commercial, but I want to make it residential, guys, that's going to add a year to the process, which means your price has to be significantly lower. But let's assume you've got residential. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what's sold around it, right? What are the lot sizes and what are things generally selling around it? Now, this is going to be back of the napkin math, so if it's not exact, forgive me. But let's just say that you've got R16 zoning. What does that mean first? R16 zoning. R6 zoning means that I can put 6 lots per acre, right? 6 lots per acre. Usually that's going to shake out to around 7,000 square foot lots. And that's normal. That's like standard for new subdivisions across the United States. So
Yep.
R6 zoning is pretty much, across the U.S. Some variation of that is what people are doing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what development nearby has a house that's sold on a 7,000 square foot lot. And what did that house sell for? And if I can see, oh, wow, this house traded around 300 grand, that tells me the builder who's going to take this land and develop it can sell his finished houses for around $300,000. Knowing that, I know that builders want to buy it around 20%, 20 to 25% of that value. So then I take the zoning. So if I have 5 acres and I know that I've got R6 zoning, that means I can put 6 lots per acre. That's going to give me 30 lots, right? So I'm going to figure out what my multiple needs to be from the $300,000 sale price, right?
So at 20%, you're at $60K a lot.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
That's what you can sell for, so you got to be under there. So let's say $50K a lot.
There you go.
You got 30 lots.
30 lots, 50
There
times
you go.
30.
600,000.
There you are.
Yep.
Yep. Simple. You can do this fast, guys. It doesn't have to be
6 million.
I don't know. I'm not doing it. You get what he said. Somebody do the math so that we don't sound stupid. What is that? What did that work out to?
30 times 50,000 is 6 million.
30 times.
$6 million. No, $1.5 million.
$1.5 million.
Guys, you don't have to be mathematicans to make millions of
The dumbest
dollars.
guys make the most money.
Yeah. He barely went to high school.
Yeah. Anyway.
Just joking.
No, that's true. There you go. And I want to touch on something real quick because I think that it's important that they understand how powerful the cash buyer database is.
Oh my gosh.
Because you can go in and make money at 70%.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But if you have
3 buyers.
you got to be lower.
Of course.
Right.
Of course. Look, the fewer buyers you have, the less demand you have, right? Basic economics is supply and demand.
Right.
Right? When you have an increase in demand, what happens, and you've got very little supply, what happens to your price? Your price pressure moves upwards. And because we have massive buyers lists and they know that there's a lot of demand for this product, we're able to sell at a premium. What I've seen a lot of new wholesalers do, and again, I'm not saying this is wrong, because if you're making money, good. But when you have 4 or 5 buyers that you rely on, let's see what happens. 4 buyers, 1 gets sick, 1 gets divorced, one's saturated with deals.
Tapped out.
Tapped out.
Yep.
You're out of business.
Yeah.
You are out of business. 4 people can derail you and you're done.
How many buyers do you have in Phoenix?
Today we have about 70,000 on our buyers list in Phoenix.
Say that to the
70,000 buyers in Phoenix right now, and I mean we're just building and building and building and building and building. If you ever have an opportunity to visit Phoenix, Arizona, come check out my office. You'll see the biggest department that we have is the list building department.
Yep.
We call it intake.
Yep.
But it's incredible. It's incredible. That's where all the bodies are. That's where we're doing outreach to buyers, building relationships, building lists, and again, I like to look at it like the record business.
Yep.
Right? If you're in the record business, would you rather have been Michael Jackson or Sony?
Right.
Do you want to be the artist or do you want to be the distribution?
Right.
Right? Guess what? Michael Jackson, rest in peace, passed away. But who still owns and makes money off all of his records? Sony. Let's be real, right? So if you can be good at dispositions and if you can build a buyer database, you can control the distribution in your area. And guess what that is to wholesalers? Honey to a bee.
Love it.
Do that one last question.
Yep. One last question from Abram. Are you guys using average sold price per square foot for ARV or average sold price of comps?
I'm going to go average. I'm going to go sold price as long as it's within 200 square feet plus or minus of my subject. So I'm not doing averages of any price per square.
I don't do any price per
I've
square
seen
foot.
that happen a lot where people want to say, hey, I've got this property over here. The price per square foot of this 1,000 square foot house is $200 per square foot. Then they're going to take a 3,000 square foot house and they're going to apply it to that.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that.
No.
That's why you only want to be comparing houses that are within plus or minus 200 square feet of each other.
Yeah. I don't even look at price per square foot anymore. Nice. Sam, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't look at price per square foot typically. We did it a little bit just to kind of make sure that we weren't getting too wacky, but it felt heavy when I did that. So usually I just use what's the highest sale in the neighborhood?
Right.
What's the highest sale?
Yeah.
You know, and if that's the highest sale, how long did it take to sell? Okay, it went fast. Okay, so there's demand in this market. So I'm going to go and I'm going to use that price as my comp. I'm going to use that as the potential equity. We're talking about potential equity, right?
Yep.
Of this deal, and it makes it just a lot simpler.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep. Awesome.
So guys, are we almost out of time? No,
Yeah.
we are. Do you mind if I share about what I'm doing
Please.
this afternoon? If you guys want to see this comping ninja in action, I'm going to do a comping show on my YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It's Jamil Damji, Jamil Damji on YouTube, youtube.com/Jamil Damji. Subscribe right now. See me there at 2 p.m. That's in
Every Wednesday.
every Wednesday.
2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
That's
right
2
now.
hours from now. 2
Yeah.
hours from now. Today, I'm going to be giving away a $200 cash Apple Pay to just one lucky user for whatever marketing you want. Any marketing you want. I don't care if that marketing is McDonald's. I don't care if that marketing is flowers for your mom. I don't care if that marketing is a skip trace list from Batch. Yeah. Whatever you want it to be, I'll Apple Pay it right to your phone or Zelle or whatever you use. But that's today only.
Awesome.
So subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you there in 2 hours.
Awesome. Team, come up here. We always bring the team up to say goodbye. And everybody get to see
How
behind the
fun.
scenes. Isn't that cool?
So cool.
Isn't this great?
I love this. I love
Anyway,
Brent,
guys,
thank you for bringing me on, bro. You're the best.
Love you.
Love you back.
All right. Guys, as always, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that if you haven't subscribed, that you subscribe and check out all the other content that we have on this channel, and also free resources at ttpinsider.com. On behalf of Matt, Mike, Jesse, Daniel, Alejandra, myself, and Jamil, thank you for joining us. And we're going to have a fantastic, no, we're not here next week. We're here the following week. We're going to be on a mastermind together.
Yes.
So follow us in 2 weeks. We're going to be live again on Wednesday, breaking everything down. So thank you. I love you. You're the best. Till next time. See ya.
TTP! Yeah.